Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Finn React. Today, yes, we do have the tier list because it's all set, because we have only a couple more months until football season finally begins. The schedule is set, the draft is done. Yeah, before we actually continue on with this, that was actually done a couple months ago, and I got so caught up with some projects, I forgot to do it, so let's roll with it, people. I blame the editor. The coaches are hired, the players are signed. Man, this is going to be a great year of football. Now, of course, we're going to have to do this very simply. We got to do a tier list simple. We got the Super Bowl favorites, Super Bowl contenders, playoff teams, a potential wild card, who's going to miss the playoffs, mediocre, and number one pick contention. Now, there's a lot of lists, and there's 32 teams. We're going to see how this is going to go. So let's start off with, the New Orleans Saints. Saints did a little bit good with the drafting this year. They didn't draft a lot of big players during the offseason. They usually have always a contention battle between the South, because you got the Falcons, the Panthers, the Bucks. I would have to say right now, they were close last year, but I think they're going to just be mediocre. It's just a matter of time of how to work with what you got. So, mediocre, I would have to say, would be the Saints this year. The Miami Dolphins. Now, last year, they were in the playoffs. They missed the playoffs, maybe. I don't remember. Okay, so they did make the playoffs. I thought they didn't. Okay. You know what? They always have a way. I think, honestly, based on the AFC, they're always going to be a contention. Now, they had to work around with the off seasons, but something about the Dolphins always entertain the fans. So I would say they're going to be a playoff contender. The Baltimore Ravens, once again, this is not biased because I'm a Raven fan. I truly believe we are a Super Bowl favorite this year. But it's always close between having a favorite and a contender. Now, I can't say much because the Ravens, we did the one thing I wanted to do, and that was draft good players for our wide receiving and defense, but also sign Derrick Henry, one of the good running backs. So now we have two weapons for running game with Lamar Jackson. But the only thing I'm worried about Lamar Jackson is that he lost a lot of weight. So he could get injured a little bit. But we were close last year. That doesn't change my opinion. We're definitely going to be a favorite. The Cincinnati Bengals. Wow, what a year they had last year. They had a terrible year. The Steelers did better, which was scary. Right now, working with Joe Burrows, they still have Jamar Chase. They're kind of still talking with T. Higgins. I think they're going to miss the playoffs because I think this year the North is just, once again, a difficult division. Steelers made some big changes this year. Browns made some changes. Baltimore made some changes. But Bengals have to make sure that Joe Burrows is healthy and not mess up. The Denver Broncos. Oh boy. Bronco country. I don't even know where to begin. You got rid of Russell Wilson. That's a great start. Your running quarterback this year is a rookie. I don't know how I feel about that. You worked around. I would have to say right now, scary to say it, I think Denver's going to be a number one pick contention. I think Denver is just too young, and they're not going to have the players that they can work around with. Prove me wrong, Denver. Any Denver fan, prove me wrong. The New York Giants. Oh, God, what a year. Giants, I would have to say, They're my second favorite team because New Jersey's close. I'm not a Jets fan, but I'm more of a Giant fan. They got rid of Saquon Barkley. They did draft a good wide receiver. Now, they signed Drew Lock. So you have Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, and Tony Chicken Nuggets. Sorry, DeVito. But I think right now, Giants, with the competition they have, they're just going to be a mediocre team. I don't think they would actually do well, but they might. They just need to really prove me wrong. The Minnesota Vikings, wow, what a year they did during the offseason. They don't have Kirk Cousins. They signed McCarthy off the draft. They just signed Justin Jefferson. Vikings are once again, like the North, they're in a tough division. They just, honestly, I think they're going to miss the playoffs. Because I think, you know what? I don't think McCarthy's ready. But I said that about Stroud, and Stroud proved me dead wrong. So, maybe McCarthy will prove me wrong. But once again, you're in a tough division with, well, everyone else in that. The Lions, the Packers, and the Bears. Okay. I was like thinking in my head, like, there's another team. Alright. LA Rams. Now, Rams made the playoffs last year. I think right now, if Stafford plays the way he is, I think they actually are going to be a potential wild card because of the fact that Cooper Kupp's going to be healthy. I mean, Sam Darnold retired. Arnold. Why do I keep thinking Darnold and Arnold? Two different people. But anyway, Arnold just retired. That's one of your big players that you guys got rid of. But your offense actually looks good. Your two rookies you drafted between Puka and Williams, they are actually good contenders right now. They're big high in the fantasy, so I think they're going to be potential. But you know what? No. I changed my mind. Playoff team. I just realized what division they're in. They don't really have that much to worry about. Next, we go to, oh boy, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, Buccaneers shocked a lot of people by defeating the Eagles last year. They made it to the playoffs, even though they led their division on a easy W. I think, honestly, they're going to be a playoff team. I don't think they had that much to worry about. I mean, the Saints are probably once again a mediocre team. Falcons are just a hit or miss because of how progression they've done during the offseason. And Carolina, well, Carolina's Carolina. What more can I say about that? It's pretty fair to say that right now they're going to be a playoff team. Definitely not a Super Bowl contender based on everyone else, but once again, I would have to put them in the playoff run. Now, speaking of, I would have to say right now, Detroit's a Super Bowl favorite as well. Detroit has been making moves this offseason. They have Goff. They have weapons. They have everything they need to be a Super Bowl favorite. They were close last year. They just couldn't beat San Fran, like Baltimore couldn't beat Kansas City. So, where do you go from there? Make your team look good. And that's what Detroit does. They make the team look good, and I think they're actually going to be a favorite. So, the Chicago Bears, speaking of the North, wow. See, this is what pisses me off about Chicago. You have all the weapons you need. You have everything set for the team to look good. My concern is Caleb Williams. People are saying that Caleb looks good. I don't agree with this whole thing. I think they're going to miss the playoffs, but you know what? I'm going to make a bold prediction. They're going to make the wild card. I think they have a potential to make the wild card if they don't mess up on their potential. San Francisco 49ers. Okay, definitely have to say. Nothing changed. I mean, they're still a Super Bowl favorite this year. I mean, everything about their team looks good. I mean, they just re-signed Christian McCaffrey. Their wide receiving game is on point. Mr. Irrelevant is going to be good this year. I cannot say anything different, but you know what? So far, we got 3 out of the 4 teams. Now we're going to go to Philadelphia. Now, a lot of Eagle fans are going to be like, you know what? We're definitely going to win the Super Bowl this year. You haven't proven me right about that statement. Once again, and I talked about it when the kids at work. You guys won a lot of games off easy teams, but when it came to the big moments, you blew it. Jalen Hurts did not show up, even though I had him for fantasy, and he disappointed me. Oh, man. I will have to say right now, they are a Super Bowl contender. I just don't think they're going to be the ones that are going to win it. They're going to probably choke again in the playoffs if they make it. I mean, they don't really have that much to worry about, but all right. The Las Vegas Raiders. Oh, God. What a year Las Vegas did. They just proved us wrong that they can actually get their shit together when times are rough. And you know what? They're still going to be a mediocre team. Not much has changed with Las Vegas. They're still mediocre. Green Bay Packers. Now, they are a playoff contender, I would have to say. Do I put them in the Super Bowl favorite right now? Absolutely not. They're way too early. This was a year Jordan Love got lucky last year. So, they got Josh Jacobs. They can work with Josh Jacobs. Give young wide receiving game. I think they actually have a great chance to make them playoffs. But also, I have to say this right now, guys. NFL, what were you thinking going to Brazil, to a place where you cannot wear green? You put the 2 teams that wear green on that team. I mean, what were you doing? Smoking crack with Roger Goodell, smoking a bong and saying, "Oh, this is such a good idea. A place that doesn't wear green. Eagles! Packers! Do it!" Crazy, guys. Now, Washington, please bring back the Redskin Commanders. For God's sake, guys, we're done talking about this. Okay. Now, once again, they drafted a quarterback, a strong quarterback. Something about these quarterbacks scare me. But with a division that they're in, where Eagles and Cowboys look the best, and Washington and New York look terrible, I would have to say, I think they're going to be a number 1 draft pick. I don't think this quarterback is going to show up. I mean, I feel like I'm looking at RG3 all over again. Oh, God. Speaking of teams that were in high draft picks, Arizona Cardinals. Now, here's the thing. You got smart. You drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. You got a good wide receiver. You gave Kyle Murray a weapon. But that's the only thing I see with Arizona. You only gave him a weapon. So to me, they're still a number 1 contention. Get rid of Kyle Murray, draft a good quarterback next year, and work with a young team. Steelers. Oh, God. I have a gag reflex when I say the word Steelers. They always do it. They always somehow make the wild card. It pisses me off that they make the wild card every year somehow. When the division is so terrible in the AFC, the Steelers somehow make it. What are you doing, Mike Tomlin? And where can I get that strategy for Baltimore? Except that we win. Anyway, they have 2 strong quarterbacks. Strong. Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I mean, can they work with what they got? I doubt it. but I hate the fact the Steelers are this so good, but so bad at the same time. All right, Buffalo Bills. Man, my friend's gonna kill me. Now, Buffalo, you got rid of one of your strongest wide receivers out there. You got rid of half your team. You only have Josh Allen at this point. I mean, you drafted a good couple of people, but I think they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, they don't really have much competition other than Miami. New York Jets is a very optimistic pick, and New England, no one even really still talks about, no matter how much they drafted a rookie. All right. Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Falcons are a team. They drafted Kirk Cousins. They drafted another quarterback off the draft this year. What were you guys even thinking when you did that? I don't know. I don't know what you guys were thinking. Once again, you must have gotten Roger Goodell's bong and went, rookie quarterback draft. I think, honestly, they're potential for a wild card, but I really believe they're going to miss it. Something about that division that always shows how bad they become at the end of the year. Prove us wrong, Kirk Cousins. You do like that. Seattle Seahawks. What is... Not much has changed with Seattle, so I'm going to say they're definitely going to miss the playoffs. I mean, their division is very... it's just very half and half. It's just Seattle fits in the half. Get rid of Geno Smith. That's the only thing I could think of. Okay. Now, the New England Patriots. Siri, who is the New England Patriots quarterback? Okay, you got Drake May as your quarterback. You got a rookie. You know what? You have a great start. However, there are some problems. You don't have your biggest head coach of the century of Bill Belichick. He's gone. You have a guy who is a former Patriot player with the last name of something I don't really like too much of, Mayo. I was trying to make a joke with that, but it was a terrible joke. Anyway, I deserve the booze, but anyway. I don't think much is going to change. Cleveland Browns. Oh, God. Browns somehow are the thorn of the Ravens' ass when it comes to football. Oh, man. I don't know how to feel. I hate saying this, but I definitely would never put them as a Super Bowl contender. If they win the Super Bowl or they make it to the Super Bowl, I would eat a handful of Bean Boozles. Spicy or disgusting, comment below, guys. But I will never, ever say to this day that the Browns will make the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl. Mark my word, every Brown fan, eat it. But you will make the playoffs. Maybe if you guys actually had someone like Joe Flacco, but instead you got Deshaun, I like 24 million women giving me happy ending massages. Watson, and also gets hurt. And you sold the Ravens quarterback. I'm saying thief. Damn it. Houston Texans. Now, once again, they are my shockers. From last year, I made them as number 1 draft pick. They made the playoffs. In their division, I can't really say much. They are definitely a playoff team. Maybe if Jacksonville steps it up this year, they will. But Texans have everything they need to look like a great team. Just do what you did last year and you'll be fine. Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, man. a lot of people are saying, you know what, the Taylor Swift curse does reflect. It's been doing it on everything with Kansas City, except Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. It got rid of half their players are criminals. Their kicker is a controversial guy that people are trying to get rid of. Taylor Swift. What? Why? I hate to say it right now. I will put him as a Super Bowl favorite. But I hope this is the year they just shit the bed. Please, for the love of God, Kansas City, just shit the bed. Patrick Mahomes is going to get hurt. Taylor Swift's going to break up with Travis Kelce. Tony's going to look like the only great player off that team if he's still on the team. Otherwise, Andy Reid. This is a good time that you end your year and leave the team. Retire if you guys win the Super Bowl, but still. Oh, Cowboys. Well, obviously they are going to make the playoffs, and they're also going to blow it like every other year. I will say they're going to make a playoffs. My thing is, I'm looking at it. They're in trouble. You have 3 stars that you guys need to figure out. Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. Who are you going to give the big contract to? And this is McCarthy's make it or break it. If he doesn't make it far in the playoffs, he's gone. Dak will be traded. CD will be your big star. And Micah's going to be your big defensive player. You have to show up this year. If you don't, you may be in the same equation as the New York Giants right now. Okay, wow. We burp when we see a Harbaugh. Now, once again, they basically ruined my tier list because I made them pretty high and they end up being really bad. I'm going to put them as a potential wild card. Listen, you guys have a lot of work you guys did with your team. Now that you guys have Jim Harbaugh, one of the best college coaches on your team who led Michigan to a title, all you have to do is just do good. Herbert needs to show up. You lost your wide receiving game, I'm just saying. But you guys got a lot of young stars / some wash-up players. So, you know what? You're going to make the playoffs. Maybe. Wild card? Potentially. New York Jets. Oh, God. This is definitely a year Aaron Rodgers needs to finally not get hurt after 3 plays. I'm going to lay it out there, guys. 5 plays. Then he'll be out for the season. They're going to miss the playoffs. I have belief that Jets are going to miss the playoffs. You have everything, the Jets. You have everything. Prove me wrong. And I make fun of Jets fans because I know a Jet fan. Actually, 2. But this is the time that you guys need to show up. If you don't, goodbye. Everything you guys worked hard for is gone. Carolina Panthers. Okay, now we're going with how to actually do good on the off season and make myself look good for the new season. You're still going to be a number 1 contention draft pick. I'm just saying, there's not much you guys can do at this point. Now let's finish up the South. First of all, we got the Tennessee Titans. I can only think of one thing, mediocre. You got rid of Derrick Henry. You guys don't really have a strong quarterback. If your Mayo-loving coffee man is your savior this year, I recommend you guys blowing it and going good for the draft this coming year. Okay. The Colts I will put as a potential wild card. You guys signed Pittman. That was the smartest thing you guys did. That was actually the very smartest decision you guys did. Anthony Richardson looked great until he got hurt, but he looked great. I think right now what they need to do is just work around their defense and their running back. I mean, Taylor needs to show up. What happened to Taylor that people were like, or whatever his last name was? I think it's Taylor, but hold on. Siri, who is the running back for the Indianapolis Colts? Jonathan Taylor. Okay, that I was right. It was Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor needs to show up and prove why he was at 1 year draft pick for fantasy. Otherwise, I think right now you guys might be in trouble being in your division. But that's the same thing I also could say about the Jacksonville Jaguars. You guys have a lot of players you can work around with. You have to just make sure you guys don't get hurt. I think Jacksonville had the potential to give Texans a run. Same thing with the Colts, but at the same time, Texans look deadly this year. I think they definitely are going. I want to say right now, I would move them over to a Super Bowl contender, but there's something about this list I don't want to touch. You know what? When I do the off-season reaction to this and see how bad or how good I was, we're going to see how we go. But anyway, this is my list, guys. If you believe anything different from this list, let me know in the comments below. If you want to do something like this as well, ask me for the link. I'll send it to you guys. As always, thank you very much for watching. Thank you. As always, check out the links where you can find me. Give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, guys, keep up my channel and check out Finn Gaming. Thank you very much. This is Michael, signing